Hey guys, it's Matt Bell here. I just wanted to let you know that the Stafford Woods disc golf course in Voorhees Township, New Jersey is in danger of being removed due to some zoning issues with the state. There are currently petitions going around that you can sign to help fight this from happening, and there's also legal battles going on right now to try and save this course. Not only is it one of the best on the East Coast, but it's run by one of the most amazing groups of volunteers in the country. So please join us in helping trying to save this amazing property and this amazing community. Thank you.
And welcome back, disc golf fans, to the 2023 Pdga Disc Golf Professional World Championships presented by LL Bean. Excited to be here in Vermont, Smuggler's Notch, checking out the Fox Run course today. I'm Nathan Queen, again joined by Andrew Fish.
And this is a lovely counterpoint to the Brewster Ridge, very tightly wooded course that we saw in round one. Fox Run has kind of everything. It's got 9 open holes, it's got 9 wooded holes, and some OB, some wind, elevation changes. It's everything you want in a championship level disc golf course.
Yeah, and including views as well. Lots of times as you climb up the hill, you get to look down and see lots of different landscapes and topography. Just beautiful up here in Vermont.
Or look up and see the mountains. You see our top 20 leaderboard there. Pretty packed in, as expected with the depth and quality of this field. I'm really looking forward to it. Simon Lizotte, sponsored by MVP. You see he's putting with the Electron anode, throwing the Hex Pyro and Deflector for his mid-ranges, and then drivers, I expect to see some Dimension as well as Tesla. I know he's using those a lot.
Yeah, and like we saw yesterday, Aaron Gossage, probably going to see some of those Onyxes in the woods, some Avengers as well. I think he likes to lean on the Buzz OS and Zone a lot for a lot of those upshots. Calvin Heimburg, it seems like we've seen him every tournament, every round this year. He's got the Draco and Eagle, gonna see some Toro and Rock 3 for upshots, and still putting with those KC Pro AVRs.
And Niklas Anttila, putting with the D-Line Flex 3 P1, throws the Sensei and Tactic, as well as MD1, MD3, Method, MD5, and Mutant for his mids. Drivers, gonna lean on the FD3, and I imagine some Cloud Breakers as well. Hole 1, par 4, 565 feet, an initial carry over some OB area. This tee-pad's been tweaked a little bit. We're going to play into a little bit of a headwind, and the entire landing zone as well as green is surrounded by out of bounds. Relatively short as par 4s go. Just get it in, find yourself an upshot.
From Germany, he's representing MVP Discs. Can we show some love to Simon Lizotte?
I like how confidently you said that it was going to be a headwind here. When I was out there, it was quite swirly, and I'm not sure that it was always a headwind.
I'll say it's generally a headwind, definitely with some crosswind components. Simon with a slight hyzer release, and this is the mistake that folks were making. Tracking right, OB, even expecting a stable disc to fight back, it was not.
From Grand Junction, Colorado, he's representing Discraft. Let's give it up for Aaron Gossage.
Gossage has mid-range. He told me he only throws 2 drivers on this entire course. Likes to lean on his fairways and these slower discs with stability. Probably just trying to hit a spot, not go too long.
Yeah, smart with all the OB out here. And most of the holes are pretty attainable to reach without having to go with the driver, as he also gets it turned just a little bit to the right, but does stay in bounds, probably looking at a forehand from there.
From Safety Harbor, Florida, he's representing Innova Champion Discs. Can we make some noise for Calvin Heimburg?
Just in case you guys missed it, we are covering the same card as yesterday, although the scores look like they could all be mixed together again. But with the weather delay, everybody played on the exact same card at the same tee time for round 2. And Calvin gonna find some OB A little farther up there than
Coming to us
Simon.
from Kuopio, Finland. He's representing Discmania. Let's show some love to Nicholas Anttila.
And Niklas put together a clean sheet in round 1 to get to 7 under. So far, nobody on the left half of the fairway, which I think is the preferred place to be. Gives you the clean view into the green. And Niklas, slight Anheuser, is tracking down the left side, and that white birch in the middle is pretty much what you want to aim for.
Yeah, it's about 250, 260 from the pin. So pretty easy upshot from there if you are in position. Simon having to go Anheuser. This green can get a little bit tight. He finds the tree that's about 55 short.
Yeah, mid C2 for Lizotte. Noted that he had taken his relief back after the OB stroke. Smart play to get himself a better angle. Gossage up near that tree as well. Leaves his upshot short.
Yeah, from where he was at, you kind of have to make a decision whether to go inside or around that tree. Going around it feels dangerous because you're closer to OB, but I believe it's the correct line.
Niklas, pretty good shot with the FD3. Runs it up the hill, maybe 20, 22 feet for his birdie attempt. And here's Calvin's third from the right side. Short approach, but plays a steep angle up to just outside bullseye.
Yeah, not wanting to mess with the left side at all. This green does slightly slope down to the left the entire way. So something like that can get away pretty quickly. It does stay in bounds, but he's now going to be maybe close to circle's edge again.
And Simon with the good pickup, par save. That's some early damage control from Lizotte, who scuffled a little bit after the restart, as we saw in the back 6 of round 1. Aaron, the clean comebacker.
Yeah, 43% of the field. So the stats I'm throwing out today are going to include B-Pool, who played this course yesterday as well. So 215 players have now played hole 1 at Fox Run. 43% of them able to get the birdie. This hole averaging at a 3.89.
And our card going to play it to a 3.75 as Calvin knocks in his par. Niklas with the only bird.
Moving into hole 2, pretty tight par 3, 250 feet, but very attainable gap to hit. You want to carry just over this rock. And as long as you've got a foot or two above that rock, you should have enough height to carry onto the basket. There is OB all the way around it, right, left, and long. Pretty easy to get to that OB if you throw too fast.
Niklas not throwing too fast. I like the standstill to minimize the moving parts. You see he goes slight Anheuser, plays with the wind nicely, and then enough stability to catch up and scoot to the bucket.
Just like we saw early on in the first round, right inside that bullseye.
Lizotte keeps the spin but slows down the arm action, tags the last tree on the left side of the tunnel.
Gossage really a power thrower. Gonna struggle a bit more to hit a gap like this because you can't throw a putter as hard as you can right here. Throws that one just a little bit low.
And Calvin with the turnover shot scoots just past the base of the bucket to about 16, 17 feet long. Here is Simon. I wonder if he's going to try to float this in. There is a tailwind right to left.
He did give it a chance. Gonna end up close.
And Aaron, the second miss to the right from circle 2, he had been errant in round one a handful of times. So certainly needs to get that under control. Calvin on the board with a birdie.
Yeah, so couple pars, couple birdies here on hole 2. Has an interesting stat. This hole did average a bit easier than hole 1, but there were more birdies on hole 1 than there were on hole 2.
Even as short as it is. 300 feet, par 3 is hole 3. There's a mandatory forcing you to the left and OB down the entire right side, as well as wrapping beyond the basket about 30 to 40 feet, depending on where you are. Backhand tunnel shot that fades a little bit to the left, possibly forehand up the left side, but that's a lower ceiling. I just like this mid-range play that has some late fade on it.
Yeah, it looked like needed a bit more hyzer on that from Niklas. There also, I found out today, is an over-the-top play.
Somebody has got a big thumber.
Oh, boy. No, actually just kind of a spike.
Okay.
Big arm.
All right. I know Simon used to go around where this Mando was going over top. Calvin with a pretty wild result off the center trees. Simon tests the entire ceiling, but is going to tap down middle of the fairway. And Aaron Gossage, like the fade of that. That's going to track to the left side of the green. Should be a putt. Hard to say whether it's going to be cluttered or not. There are some trees pretty close to this basket that make some weird angles. Calvin. And this is very unusual. Looks like he had taken relief after going OB short of the mandatory and then hits the Mando tree.
So it looks like there's 3 trunks on that tree, and he went in between to the left of the one that the Mando is nailed on. So he made the Mando.
Yep, and Marshal Robert Leonard on the call to assist with the card's determination of that.
And a very aggravated upshot there from Calvin, is that's not what you want to happen on this hole.
No, these first 3 holes are so simple when you play them well, but you absolutely cannot take them for granted. You see how quickly that got out of control for Calvin. Niklas tagging band. Gonna have to settle for his first par of the round. Here is Gossage with some pretty good extension off to the right, but in for his first bird.
All right. Able to get himself to 1 down on the round now. This hole played it a bit more difficult than the first 2. Still averaging under par, 2.96. But not a lot of birdies, really. 29% of the field.
And Calvin gonna take the double bogey 5, and we're gonna walk quite a ways over to hole 4 to play the next 9.
Here we are at hole 4, 630-foot par 4. Got to go up and over the shrubbery here to land just to the left of this bush. So you can have a pretty short upshot from there. You're probably only going to have 200 feet or so into this basket. anywhere in that inbounds area is really okay as long as you don't pinch yourself off on that bush.
I like the Anheuser release with a stable disc. However, this is pretty high. Makes it stall. And a little short in the landing zone, but well inbounds for Aaron Gossage.
Yeah, even from there, no more than 300, 315.
Every year, these trees grow, obscuring the view of the landing zone more and more. Anttila, well controlled, kind of joining Aaron over there on the left side.
Yeah, I feel like these bushes growing higher right here has actually made it easier to stay out of the bush that's in the landing zone. Because you have to throw a lot higher so the drives aren't going as far and stalling out a little bit before it.
The card fortunate to play this in some much calmer conditions. When the wind is up there and you have to throw the disc 40 feet in the air, you can get some wild reactions. Heimburg going to make it 4 for 4, landing inbounds. Everybody in attacking position onto this one-tier green.
Niklas going forehand. Should be a bit of a tail with left to right in it. Although that flag kind of shows headwind for him right now.
We said swirly. It's going to be swirly at some points all over. Gossage with much more width. And lands it inside the circle left side. That's more of a tailwind angle for Aaron's third.
Simon going really high hyzer on the right side. Using that spike to control the distance. He was right on line. Gonna be inside circle 1.
And Heimburg to the right side, but about 15 feet. And a good spin from Niklas.
Yeah, it seems like every time you get to this green, there's more wind there than you expect to be. Niklas got a bit of a lull there, but you see it has come back now for Aaron. And that disc did take a bit of a drop there late in its flight.
And Simon knows he got away with one. The crowd doesn't care. They love him anyway. Also with a drop in the flight somewhere.
Yeah, gets himself under on the round. Calvin, after a rough hole 3, looking to get back to even on the round.
And gonna do so successfully. Aaron stabs that in there to complete the par. Hole 5, 455 feet, a par 3. A lot of grass in front of you, constrained by OB on both sides. This right side gap that the drone is flying is the backhand way to get in here. Green is on the dam of this lake. And if you get trapped by the trees on the right side OB, you're probably not going to come back in. They're very thick, so need to trust your stability and trust your power.
Yeah, and this is really the miss that you would like to have. Hitting those trees, you're going to be inbounds. If you get caught behind them, it can get a little tricky, but inbounds and still a chance for par. This is the hardest hole on the course after the second round.
And Simon getting his money's worth, gonna go about 40 feet offshore, take his drop somewhere up near circle 2. Heimburg didn't push it straight for quite long enough, so he's gonna filter through along with Niklas. probably also into circle 2 near the bridge.
And I played the mixed doubles with Aaron this round at Fox Run, and he told me his original plan here. Oh no, that's a pretty unfortunate skip with how slow that disc was moving, but his original plan there was to go forehand, and I talked him out of it, and he parked it in the doubles, and it seems like he's still going with the backhand now.
Well, I like the way he threw it. He got a pretty tough result. Wonder if he's blaming you for that.
I guess I'll have to ask him about it.
Yeah, some alternate universe, that forehand is parked instead.
Yeah, I don't know. That shot looked really good. I am surprised it skipped like that. Simon, after throwing way in the air, is going to have an opportunity to save par.
And perhaps some funny footing. He is on a pretty strong upslope there, as is Aaron. Kind of weird to be putting level, but staggered uphill.
And he might blame me after I say this, but I actually did birdie this hole today with the lefty backhand. First time ever, though, so sweet. Good save from Aaron. 3, like I said, is the hardest hole on the course, so 3, you should feel totally fine with that.
Yeah, I think if you could sign up for a tap-in 3, a lot of players would sign on the dotted line real quick.
Sign me up.
Simon is going to take the 4. Everybody else gets away with the par. And we go from the hardest hole on the course to the 3rd easiest on tour.
Yep, and certainly the easiest on the course, averaged at a 2.34 today. Well, that is for 215 people. 75% of the field carding a birdie on this one. There is OB everywhere, but pretty simple, 265 feet, par 3.
Yeah, pretty much everybody's got a forehand that looks like that. Even if you feel like you sawed it off, you probably got inside the circle. And the good folks at Statmando told me that only 2 holes on the entire tour up to this point have scored easier as a par 3 than hole 6.
Did they tell you which 2?
Give me a moment.
That's Simon Lizotte gonna hit the box. Tap in a nice birdie. Aaron Gossage giving it some height. Maybe giving it a chance at the chains, but he's gonna end up inside circle 1. Simon again going pretty high and also giving it a chance. Flying just past the flag. We're going to have 4 putts here for birdie.
And that's more or less what you expect. However, look at this screaming tailwind that Niklas is having to deal with.
Yeah, this was not going on before they walked up here. But no troubles at all. Niklas able to connect, now 4 down on the round. Aaron Gossage with a bit of a swirly headwind. Also able to jam his putt on in there.
And the answer you sought, Eureka Temp hole 7 and Disc Side of Heaven at Jonesboro Open hole 15. And an average of 2.004 hour card on hole 6. Hole 7, long par 5, 1,265 feet, a little bit downhill. You can lay up short of this creek or try to carry it. It's been reconfigured a little bit to make that enticing play of throwing across. Fairway bubbles out a couple times and then wraps around to the right side to a slightly elevated green. Again, this hole can be very easy when you play it well, but also can give up 7s in a hurry if you don't. With a headwind today, definitely have to make a choice of how aggressive you are on the attacking first shot.
I was a little silent there. Disc Side of Heaven, hole 15. I got that righty birdie this year, so must be one of the easiest holes on tour.
It's got to be if you can do that.
Niklas going to be a little bit farther left probably than he wanted to be, but is in bounds.
Calvin also spiking it over to the left side. There isn't a terrible place as long as you're inbounds on the first shot. Gossage looks like he's attacking the landing zone long. Nope, he's just going to lay up short. Tests the front edge.
Yeah, kind of up on those mounds. That is somewhat an awkward spot. You have to decide. Well, really, it just depends on the wind. But that bush makes you throw more of a hyzer angle than being able to throw flat.
Yep. And we'll see hole 8 now playing as a par 3. This change kind of allows you to throw over that green and bridge without as much interference or distraction. Niklas, being so far left, gets to throw a hyzer and perfectly centered, somewhere in the mid 400s away from the basket. Gossage's angle has to go big and hyzer, and he's getting smashed down.
Yeah. Interesting choice on that one to go with the Anheuser. He's going to be back pretty far now. I don't think he's going to be able to attack the green from where he went out at.
And was that a friendly fence bounce?
Looks like it was.
New net on the right side protecting the property line. In my experience, it had been playing pretty soft, catching a lot of shots that went into it. Calvin apparently throws harder than I do.
This one's heading that way as well. And
Do you just have to hit it so square that it bounces back?
I'm not sure. I have not seen it in person. So I did see one hit a tree above it today and come back.
Curious. Gossage cuts the corner to the second landing zone with the forehand. He'll have about 350 into the green. This looks like an attacking shot from Niklas.
And I'd say he's probably in that 460 to 480 range from where he's at. Does play pretty downhill. And he is going to come up just on that line.
Good hustle from the spotter, but no OB graphics suggest that he's in.
Yeah, and that's a big difference. Being in there and not being in, that would back him up another 250 feet.
And 2 strokes, essentially.
Calvin able to curl around just in front of that OB line. He's going to have a long look now at a birdie.
Simon going to go big, swooping hyzer, trusting his width. And enough dig to stay inside the back line.
Yeah, kind of like hole 4. Right on line, going to spike just behind it.
Aaron Gossage with the forehand. One little tap right at the base of the basket. So he should be in position to take the easy bogey.
A little bit low there again from Calvin. We saw that this morning, I'll say. I don't think it was quite this round yet. Niklas gonna hit just a bit high, and the wind's died down a bit down here. Maybe it's a bit unsettling for the players after being in the wind for so long.
Yeah, I think we've said this at some other tournaments. When the wind has been up and suddenly it's not, you don't trust your read all the time. You're expecting something to happen. So everybody going to have to take some disappointing tap-ins here.
On the second hardest hole on the course, 44% of the field bogey or above. 9% of that double bogey, 7% of that triple and up.
Couldn't be me. No thanks.
Hole 8. It's a par 3.
It's a really hard par 3. 410 feet uphill, super right turn. Nathan, is this a lefty hole?
No.
It's not. Like, it's so far right that it becomes a righty hole again.
Sorry, I had a hard time talking about it because I just don't quite understand the change on this one. This is a pretty good shot for the hole. 60 to 80 feet. The righty backhand turnover, like you were alluding to, is going to be the best way to get there.
Throw something pretty flippy, way high, and then try to let it glide out without stalling or cutting over. So Calvin gets himself for a birdie opportunity.
Beautiful shot.
And this kind of mimics what the really aggressive attacking shot used to be when this was playing as a par 4. I think a large part of turning it into a par 3 was for flow between 7 and 8. And through that lens, I understand.
Simon looked to be a bit inside, but has enough stability to come back out. Looks like he'll be in circle 1 with a putt as well. Wow.
Aaron Gossage, the best of the bunch.
Chase card being chase card right here.
Yeah, I was thinking we were going to have to put a heat check on Niklas being 3 up over the rest of the card and quickly into a tie for 6th place. But chance to gain on him for Simon.
And able to connect. Going to put him to 2 down on the round now. So there was 11% of the field able to card the birdie on this 410-foot par 3. Calvin Heimburg going to be one of those players. That is just 24 players out of 215.
Quite a special bunch we got there. Calvin Heimburg and Simon Lizotte grab their 2s. Aaron Gossage, you see him right inside the bullseye. Niklas high in the chains for his 3.
50 points. Yeah, just 29% of the field even able to get to circle 2.
And with as much free space as this is, that's pretty surprising. Hole 9, 480 feet, downhill par 3. OB to the left at the bottom of the dam and to the right at the tree line. Massive boulder behind the hole is really the signature feature here. Nathan, I don't know if there's a great way to 2 this. I don't even know if there's a safe way to try to 3 this.
And it seems like every time you get here, the wind is a headwind and just picks up some more. Calvin Heimburg trying to show you the way. Doesn't quite get the skip that I thought he would get, but still a great drive.
Yeah, I think that's the appropriate meta right now for these elite players. Try to attack the basket. If you're going to go OB, at least do it late in your flight. And you might be able to save a 3 as Simon almost pops back in. You might be able to save a 3 or at least an easy 4.
And this hole did see a lot of 4s. This looks a little bit low, but just able to sneak over that hill, and that should be good layup zone to get a nice par.
Yeah, when a hole is 480 feet, you can't throw an adequate shot and expect a birdie. Niklas, high right side. This is going to fade out to the left side of the basket. And paint runs up the dam to an extent at that point, so he's inside circle 2. Chance for the bird.
Simon is going to give this a long bid, trying to save the par. Gossage actually going to give it a long bid as well, and this is a dangerous green as he almost finds that OB right side. Looks like he did settle in bounds, though.
Heimburg with a long putt. But pulls it right. Good stop on the boulder. And Niklas from C2 glides it in there to card the 5 down front 9.
And he almost had a birdie look at every hole.
He told me there's not a single hole out here that he's not trying to birdie. He's attacking everything.
And on the attack he is, 5 down through that front 9. A solid putt right towards that OB there. Aaron Gossage able to finish that front 9 2 under par.
And Simon and Calvin, nearly identical putts, going to look for the same to get to 2 under overall. I'm sorry, 2 under for the round. Simon, I'm sorry, carding the bogey. Calvin with the par. So everybody doing a little bit of work. The back 9 has much more scoring opportunities. And Niklas, I think he's the story right now. Bogey free through 27 holes, 12 down, T2 in the field.
Yeah, bogey free is fantastic, especially with the tight woods and then the tight OB that you find out here. Anthony Barella, I've had the pleasure of playing with the first 2 rounds. Out in front at the moment through these first 9 holes.
Yeah, go off, kid. So much more good action here on Fox Run. We hope you will join us for the back 9 of this round 2 chase card, and then everything after that. Like, share, subscribe, so that you can catch all the action from the 2023 Professional World Disc Golf Championships.
For Andrew Fish, I'm Nathan Queen. We'll see you guys out there.